Hi kids, I'm Mr. Taylor, and I was just remembering this one time back in college where I sat down to breakfast with this guy. We didn't really know each other all that well, but we sat down. He picked up an orange. He was gonna eat this orange, but he looks at it for a second and he says, "How do I eat this?" And I was like, oh, okay, I guess he's never had an orange before. And so I told him, I was like, well, you have to you have to peel it. And he proceeded to do one of the wildest things I've ever seen. He started to peel it, but normally when you peel an orange, you peel it all the way. He didn't do that. He didn't know he was supposed to do that. So instead he kind of peeled it a little bit, and then he proceeded to eat it like so. His face is covered in orange. There's just pulp and rind and stuff all over his hands. His peel is still in his hands, and I'm sitting there just like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? And I'm just thinking in my head over and over, why did you do that? Maybe you've had a similar experience where you've watched somebody do something that you know how to do, but they don't know how to do it, and they do it a completely different way. Or maybe you both know how to do it and you just have your own way of doing it. But sometimes the way that we think is the right way isn't necessarily the way that everything has to be done. And believe it or not, the same can be true of worship. In the Bible, there's a story about a woman who, in order to worship God, did something that everyone else thought was crazy. This woman was named Mary, and she had something very valuable in her house. It was a jar of perfume, which was worth more than a year's wages. In today's money, that would be about $70,000, which is about the cost of a new Tesla Model S. Mary loved Jesus so much that she decided to use all the perfume she had on him, so she came out during dinner and poured the perfume on Jesus' head. Remember, that would be like putting a Tesla Model S on Jesus' head today. Of course, the other dinner guests were surprised and even angry. They said, why didn't she sell all that perfume and feed the poor? Why would she waste all the expensive perfume? But Jesus didn't get angry. He said, this woman has done a good thing. In fact, whenever people talk about my life in the future, they'll also talk about this moment. Jesus didn't care that the woman used something so expensive on him. In fact, he recognized it as worship and he praised her for it. I think that story's a good reminder that not everybody is going to worship God in the same way, and instead of focusing on how somebody else is doing it, you should focus on how you're doing it. Well, that's all I have for this week. If you don't mind, I think I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm kind of in the mood for an orange.